All right. Good evening, all. Good evening, Geoff. How are you doing? Did you get your dinner?
It should be here in like 10 minutes.
Geoff is running late today, so he got. Is it Uber Eats? Is that what you got?
Yeah, I did Uber Eats.
What did you? And where did you have them pick up food for you from?
Nice old smelly Indian.
I can't stand Indian food.
Yeah, we got the hurricane coming. I'm like, what's some good food that I can't make at home? Indian.
Yeah, that's right. You got a hurricane coming your way.
It's minor though. It's us Floridians are used to much worse.
Well, it's interesting. You know, the thing about Florida for me is I couldn't live in Florida because I don't want to have to evacuate, and I don't want my house blown away because I've got a lot of expensive stuff in here, and stuff, and I don't want to be packing my car, or trailer or whatever every 3 weeks when there's another tropical storm blowing through.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
I don't know. Even once a year would be too. I was like, oh, I got to worry about that,
Yeah, I haven't had to think about packing for realistically 10 years, maybe longer, 15 years. Like there's been some storms and everyone freaks out, and then it's like, is your house, not 50 or 80 years old? All right, well then you're probably good, unless for whatever reason you're throwing dance parties on your roof or something. If it's a major storm and you're getting hit directly, not that I'm a weather man or anything like that, but if it's like a Cat 4 or a Cat 5, even a Cat 3, and the eyes coming through right through your town, you should probably be worried. But if you're not getting hit with the wall of the storm, then it's just really bad weather for a day or two.
Okay.
So it's not too bad.
I'll just take your word for it. How's that? So
I've been through a bunch of hurricanes. It always sounds much worse than it is, but I mean, hey, I've been through some bad ones too. So,
and I've never been through a bad. Have I ever been through a bad? No, I don't. I've never been earthquakes. I've been in earthquakes in 3 states. Let's see, New York. There's an earthquake. There was an earthquake in New York. There was an earthquake here in Georgia 20 years ago, and of course California. I've been through plenty out there.
The worst storm I went through was in 2005, I think, and the power was out for 5 weeks, and that was the last really bad storm, because then Florida had to get their act together after that one, because it was pretty bad. And then every storm we've had since then, if the power's been out, the most it's been out was a few days, and it's not everywhere. It's typically certain areas that got hit worse than others, like maybe a tornado happened or something like that during the hurricane.
Gotcha.
So, I'm only speaking so confidently because we're a day away and this thing's a Cat 1, so I'm like, I'm good.
Nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, Joey, why don't you get down? Okay. Well, good boy. I'm telling you, as I was talking to a friend, and I was like, "Wow, this has been one hell of a 10-day period." I mean, it's been crazy. Good and bad. We're for those of you watching, I'm assuming most of you know that Gary Graham is leaving the project. Now, I had another conversation with Gary today. It was great. It was great. And a couple things came out of this email exchange. One, he hates haters, specifically Axanar. He says haters. He just emailed me that. I was laughing because I was like, look, just heads up. And he was like, he's like, I love Axanar. He says, I'm a huge fan. He says, I hope it's great. He says, but even me was like, what I did, I had to do for CBS. I think he kind of confirmed it, which God bless him, right? Listen, you're a 70-year-old actor in Hollywood. You need all the breaks you can get.
Yeah, especially if you're a character. If it makes sense for his character to, not that it makes sense that he's 100% going to appear, but he could appear. So if you can lobby for it, it's work. It's work, and it's a character he's known for. So God bless him. If they decide to go his way, and who knows, even if it's for an episode or two, You know, he needs to steer away from not just Axanar, but any fan film. He can't really be a part of it at that point if he's trying to be in, you know, 2020 Star Trek.
Right. No, I agreed.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, you know, listen, something I have an enormous amount of respect for J.G. Herschler. Like, he's like, fuck it, I don't care. You know, if that's like what I'm saying, that's too bad. I don't, you know, he's not, you know, he
speaks his mind.
He does, you know. So anyway, well, so that was, you know, so that interesting. Let's talk about your new red camera. That's your new toy. Is it there? Is it somewhere we can see it?
It is. I have to grab it. Hold on.
Yeah, so we gotta show everyone what it looks like.
Well, it's because I just got home and I was shooting with it, so I have it all packed, but I'm not gonna fully undo it. I think that actually was a note. Nope, that's someone else. So.
Holy, I can't believe how small that is.
Yeah,
it doesn't have a lens on it, everybody.
Yeah, there's no lens on it and there's no batteries on it. This is just the camera on a cage.
Right. That is
crazy. But this is not only the smallest red camera ever made. Actually, it's one of the smallest cinema cameras ever made. A company just came out that made cinema cameras this small, but it's definitely the smallest red camera ever made. And it's one of the very few limited edition white ones because we're on the testing team testing the like when you boot the camera up, it lets you know that it's a beta camera. It has the red skull logo and then it says beta in huge letters underneath because the camera is not out yet. So let me put it down.
Wow.
This is the beauty of doing these live. You know, you don't get the cuts. We're just going straight through it. But yeah, no, it's fun. I was shooting some action sports stuff with it today. That's why I'm like really tired and had to get Uber Eats. And I've got the LaCroix right here to hydrate me a little bit.
Okay, I didn't bring anything up, and I don't have and Crystal's on her way home, so it's not like I say barmaid. Beer maiden, deliver me.
Jeez, I need some beer.
I need some. She's great. Every time if she's home, I'll just message her. I'm like, hey, can I get a can of water? And she's great. She'll just bring it right up. So, so tell us about the camera. So this is an 8K camera.
No, it's a 6K camera.
6K camera. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is kind of overkill.
Which is more than enough. Well, it's funny. There was a class for the Red owners a few days ago. And the talk about it is why do you shoot in high definition? Like, why do you shoot above 4K? And the answer on a lot of shoots would always be like, well, you know, I shoot it so I can take still images from the video footage and you know, print them or use them on a billboard or do whatever. And I always used to be like, you're full of crap when you say that. And the people who I said that to but it doesn't mean that answer was wrong. It was really more about having a camera that if you wanted to be able to take a picture with the camera, you could shoot in something like 8K. And if you what's called crank up your shutter speed, then you can get something in video. You can basically take a screen grab from it and it's good enough to print as a picture. But it's not like we can film Axanar and every single frame of Axanar you can print as a billboard. You have to basically be going in with the mindset of I'm filming this to grab a screenshot from, or I'm filming this to make a video. And that made a lot of sense to me. And I'm like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. That's what I always thought. But anyways, tangent, but it's interesting. Like literally the reason you shoot above 4K is for that. Or if you're shooting these crazy VFX scenes, like, you know, the end of Avengers where everyone's going crazy and, you know, none of it's real. Literally every shot is green screen. It makes sense to film in 6K or 8K. But I mean, that's it. Most of the stuff is, if you're not shooting green screen, there's really no reason to shoot not in 4K. And you know, it's the standard. And all RE cameras, which is what all the Avengers movies are filmed in for the most, pretty much all of the Avengers movies, or say all the Marvel movies, are filmed with REs, except for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which are filmed with red cameras, which is kind of interesting.
Why is that? Why are the Guardians of the Galaxy movies?
My guess would be because Guardians of the Galaxy is mostly space-based, and space-based movies require a lot of green screen, which means that they're using the red cameras because they want the higher resolution because it's a lot more green screen than normal. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are probably mostly green screen, even like with a little green screen in certain areas and whatnot. Whereas the Avengers movies, there's still a lot of it that's not green screen. There's a lot of it that is, but there's a lot of it that isn't.
Right. That's all. Yeah, there's a lot of practice.
So that isn't like them, James Gunn and the DP who did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. They didn't come out and say that. That's just me trying to logically think, why would they do that when all of the other Marvel movies are filmed on RE cameras? That's just what makes the most sense. And then, look, I don't know what the most recent Star Trek movie was filmed on, but I know the first one was the first reboot movie was filmed on film. And I think the second one.
Right.
You didn't know that?
I did not know that. I mean, that was 2009.
Yeah, well, that was J.J. Abrams' thing though. Like his thing is he's a film purist, so he shot at least the first Star Trek movie on film, and again he shot at least the first Star Wars movie on film. I do not know if they filmed the Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker on film, but I do know for a fact that they did the first reboot Star Trek and the first Star Wars reboot. I guess you could almost.
Wow. Say. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I mean, I give JJ credit. His movies look good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just Force Awakens was on again the other day, and I'm not a fan of that movie, but I'm not a hater.
Mm-hmm.
And but I'm like, it's a really beautiful movie. There's a lot of really nice.
It is. It's really nice.
By the way, Scott G in Atlanta left a comment. Does the beta camera leave a digital footprint on the tape that says it was shot on a beta test camera?
I don't know, and I'll tell you why. I know of the beta camera. I started my whole filmmaking career right after beta cameras were like the camera that everyone used as like professional cameras, but not like Hollywood cameras. I started on what's called a DVX 100 when I was like 15, and that was like the first somewhat digital and tape camera. Actually, I think it was tape. And then the next one I got was the DVX 200 or HVX 200. What, I don't know. All the names are so weird. But anyways, beta camera was before my time, so I would not be the right person to answer that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. Are we missing some? It looks like our comments are still, but and good. There's only 7 of you watching on the Axanar YouTube channel. Move on over to the Aries Studios channel because that's where we do all of our live streams. So, and thank you. Hey, also thank you to all our Patreon donors. You are the guys that make this and everything we do. Really, everything we do at the studio possible. That's why we do these streams because of you guys. So thank you very much. It's interesting. We can't I came out I filmed about right before I got sick. I think it was. I had filmed an update, when you and I talked, and then I got sick, and then you and I were talking. We decided to change things, so I kept that update. Dana hadn't started editing yet, and we created another one. Anyway, it's I think the thing that as this whole COVID thing continues, the thing that I'm realizing is, how foolish it is for us to be making plans right now, because it's like the more we think about it, the more we go, the more we learn. The more we learn, the more we're like, this is going to take a little longer than it.
Well, especially it's less foolish about making plans in Atlanta because there's still some stuff that we have to film in Atlanta, but Atlanta we have control over a lot of the variables, whereas LA we don't. We're renting someone else's studio. We're guests there, whereas you're the owner and the operator of where we're shooting in Atlanta. So the territory is completely different. The atmosphere of what's going on with COVID is completely different in California than it is in Atlanta. So as far as that, yes, it's the same reason why the red cameras had to be pushed out, because they're afraid that California may go on a lockdown, a full lockdown. They're on a partial one right now, apparently. We can't really plan anything for LA until things become more clear, because it's like you can make a plan, and you can make a plan for 3 months from now, and hopefully things get better. But in 3 months from now, if things don't get better, well, some of the actors that we want that we haven't really revealed who's coming in yet, they may not feel comfortable doing it. At least not at that point in time if things are worse. And we want to get these actors, because they're not only amazing, not only will you love them, but you want them to feel comfortable. You want them to feel happy that they're coming to set, and you don't want them to feel like it's a chore, and that not only are they helping you out by being in the film, but they're putting themselves at risk. So you want them to feel 100% safe. And we're realizing that at least in California, it's not necessarily the right time. And at the same time, they're not going to fly to Atlanta. We'll start planning when it's the right time. I think that's really the main thing we've learned.
God, it's again, and I've said it a number of times. It's you can rush to open your restaurant because you need to get back into business. That doesn't mean customers are going to come.
Right.
Right. And it's the same way we can rush to shoot in California. It doesn't mean the actors are going to want to come onto our set.
Right. And if they don't want to come, then it's no point of even scheduling it. Because I remember you spoke to one of them, and they're like, I want to be in the project. I love your project. It's really great. Now's not the right time. We need to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're, postulating and thinking this is what they're going to say. At least one of them has already said it. So it's like, we already know that that's going to be the deal. So it's just kind of about waiting. I don't know when we're going to do the Atlanta shoot. Hopefully we can do it sooner than later, but at least for California, it's got to be the right time to do it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And and by the way, this is someone we want in Axanar. This is a new actor that people will be really excited about. I'm really excited about.
I'll tell you, if you're a fan of Axanar, you definitely know who they are. But it's like they made specific statements as far as, this is what's going on, and this is what I feel comfortable doing, and this is right now. It's not at that point of me feeling comfortable.
Yeah. So but listen, and because Geoff and I here talk about this every day practically, and we talked about it today. It's like, we keep pushing out this Atlanta shoot, and I talked to Rob Pralgo, who plays Robert April, today, and we talked about it, because we had, a month and a half ago, we talked about shooting in August. He's like, are you still planning to shoot the end of next month? I go, no. I said, if we're lucky, Rob, we're shooting in September. I said,
yeah.
And he's like, that's good. He goes, that's fine. And listen, he's in the industry. He not just an actor, but he's a director, and he's an acting coach, and he knows what's going on. Everyone knows what's going on, and it's so it's gonna take a while, which allows us more time for planning, because I think the one thing that you've been harping on a lot, rightly so, which I agree, is plan.
Yeah, pre-production.
Plan everything, within an inch of its life, and I think that's really, really important.
Yeah, and it's more important now, especially during COVID, where you need less people on set. It's not a money thing. It's really a COVID thing, where the less people on set, the better. And if you're going to have less people on set, in order to be the most efficient you can be, you have to plan everything. Even if things don't go 100% according to plan, at least you had a plan that you deviated from. You just can't. And not to say that we ever wing things, but you can't, do last minute planning. It all has to be done, planned well in advance. So that way, if things come up, you can at least deviate your course a little bit and stick to some of a plan.
And I think in the past we've been able to get away with having so many volunteers. Like, oh, okay, we're concerned about the workload here or this. Like, okay, stick a volunteer by the door. Oh, okay, stick a volunteer over here. Okay, and we had so many great volunteers.
But we can't do that anymore. Not with the actors. And so that, like, we love having the volunteers, but that's an issue now. And so now it's kind of like, how long is it going to take the 2-person film crew and the sound guy and, the gaffer to go do this scene? And then, oh, we want to do this scene. Is it even possible with that little bit of a crew in the same day? And it's all goes in the planning of realistically, how long is it going to take to do each setup? So that's where we're going. It's a new day. We're not the only ones that have to basically do that. There's much bigger productions that are going through that now, and it's why there's only a few productions that are really kicking it and starting right now, because everyone's in the planning stages doing a much more strict pre-production. So.
Yeah, and what's kind of interesting is it's kind of like what the NBA is doing with their games down in Orlando at the Disney Center. It's like they're like, we're going to minimize all the risks.
By the way, I'll be right back. It's here.
It's it. There. Michael Weir, how's the puppy doing? So many of you know that Michael Weir adopted a rescue that we got. I mean, literally, we got the rescue within an hour. Weir was like, I want that dog. We called him Chico. He calls him Pow Pow. Powhatan, is that what his name is? Is that an Indian name, Michael? I hope I'm just going to call him Chico. Hope Chico is doing great. I saw your photos from last night. Hope he's fitting in well with everything. There's Dale Simpson, who is the first officer on the USS Ares chapter of Starfleet International. Dale is putting together the monthly report back to Starfleet headquarters. It all come in okay?
Did you like my little tripping that I did on my way out?
Did you purposely put a pile of tin cans by your door?
Tea cans?
Tin cans.
What, that I tripped on?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I tripped on the headphones when I put them down.
Oh, look at that. There we go. That's so cute. Go over here. Hey, Chico, how you doing?
It's Dale. Dale, how you doing, man?
Dale's doing great. Dale and I just spoke just before we got on. There's Silver Bullet. Stephen Shue, how are you and your mom doing? There's Tesla.
I'm waiting to see Dale's cameo in Axanar. Everyone's been asking me lately. They're like, why hasn't Dale premiered? And I'm like, you got to look for him. He's in almost every scene. He's a special character. And Dale's been hiding it for a long time. I don't know how you kept the secret, Dale. I really don't.
We shoot Dale on a green screen, and then we make him about this big and put him in the background. We were talking about planning. Listen, folks, it's a complicated situation. It's no different than any other industry is going through. I mean, listen, yesterday I went to my favorite Mediterranean restaurant, Adriatic Grill here in Lawrenceville, and because Crystal had gone away, so I was like, let me go in and I'm going to get like 5 euros, chicken euros. And I bring them I bring them my high fiber tortillas, which have almost no carbs in them, and I say bake them on these. I walk in, no one. They got 3 cooks and 2 girls working the cash register. None of them had masks on.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay. And I had a mask on, and I can't get anyone sick because I've had COVID and I'm not spitting out virus. And I was just like, wow, really? And I don't know. And I love that restaurant and I love their food. And now I'm like, what do I do? Do I not go back because their hygiene is so bad? It's kind of at a loss. Anyway, I know the user count just jumped about 50%. So hello.
It's because we spoke about Dale's character that no one knew was in the movie.
All the Dale groupies came out. Is that it?
All the Merrick fans.
Cool VFX. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Are you saying that Dale is not really that small? No, he's Dale's not really that small. Vega 8 the 3-1. Vega 831. I see. That's it. He's commenting on the NASA. But then again, and then today when I went out,
jeez,
what?
Out of nowhere, this light just went like full blast.
It's the Gremlins.
Yeah, for real.
And today I went and I just got two new pairs of sweatpants, and I just got the basics off Amazon. I needed they're too long, so I needed them hemmed. So I went to the alterations place, and they had their mannequins wearing masks, which I thought was hysterical. And so it's like, but then I mean, people in Georgia. I went to another place today, no mask, no one's wearing. I was like,
well, it's because you guys don't have the mandatory mask laws. It's the cities can do it, even though I think Kemp's suing the mayor of Atlanta, right, to try and get her to.
That he dropped that lawsuit.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard. Well, that was not that. Listen, when 68% of the population are in favor of mandatory mask laws, you're not winning that conversation. That's
so someone tried to sue Palm Beach County because they instituted a countywide mask order, and basically when the judge got the case, he said, for quote, they said we have the right to not wear masks, and his quote was, "You do not have the right to infect people." So they threw it out, and I thought that was hilarious because they actually sued them to try and get them to get rid of the mandate. And our numbers are so high here; it's like,
oh yeah, you're getting killed. But you know,
well, the thing is, it's not all of Florida. It's specifically South Florida and Tampa and West Florida and Naples. It's specific areas that are huge hotspots that have the majority of the cases. But regardless, the cases are so high that it puts our state at number 2. So the reason they're pushing for our governor to do mandatory mask law is it makes people take it more seriously. But I mean, Miami's under mandatory mask, Broward's under mandatory mask, Palm Beach is under mandatory mask. I mean, they're doing it. So it's like, if you don't wear a mask, it's a ticketable offense now.
Yeah. I get, so, well, good. I mean, that's the way it needs to be. To all the new people that join us, we were talking a little earlier. We were talking just about Gary Graham leaving the project. He is hoping to get on official Star Trek now that there's multiple shows. Logically, it would really be Strange New Worlds. He wouldn't fit in the Picard timeline because Saval's dead by that time. And Discovery is 3,000 years in the future. So there's really only one show that would be right for Gary, and that would be Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which is the new Pike show. So listen,
isn't it 1,000 years in the future? I mean, regardless, 1,000 years, whatever, but
whatever, it's far in the future.
It's all in the future.
Yeah. Gotcha. Just checking. Well, listen, I've got multiple masks in my car, and it was funny because we went out to dinner the other night, and I I forgot a mask, and I ran back to the car to get a mask, and then I came back and was like, "Where's my mask?" I said, "I didn't know you needed a mask." She said, "I told you as you were running away," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know." So anyway, I gave her the mask. When we went in the restaurant, and I told the bartender, I apologized. I said, "Look, I'm sorry, I don't have a mask, but I just was sick, so you can't get sick from me anyway." She was like, "Yeah, don't worry about it."
Well, they don't know that though.
No, they don't. That's why you have to man it. That means you wear the mask. You wear the mask for other reasons besides, you wear it to send the right message to everyone too. So yeah, everyone, wear your damn mask. Right, Sublet, I sent you your mystery box that you bought for the puppies, and I included an automobile book for you because I thought you might enjoy it. Certainly some of my favorite race cars, and I included that in addition to a very cool Star Trek book for you. So that's in the mail. I hope you enjoy that. Vega 831 says, I wonder how the Federation would handle COVID. Probably wipe it out through the biofilters. Just transport everything and wipe it and just biofilter it out. So there you go. So what is Geoff? Tell us technologically, where are the next breakthroughs in filmmaking technologically?
It's probably like in the virtual filmmaking, kind of like The Mandalorian's a good step towards that, but I think the next is going to be like completely virtual sets where it looks like there's a great video online where there's this girl walking through a school bus and like walking past her friends, and then she doesn't go to sit with them and she sits at like a seat by herself, and then it looks real, and then you go and you look at it and all the people were real, but they were sitting on like green boxes and in a green screen. And so virtual sets are probably the next really big thing in filmmaking.
So, okay, I'm going to put up, tell us about, because there's some great photos here.
From The Mandalorian?
Yeah, tell everyone, let me get rid of this banner here. Tell everyone about how they shot The Mandalorian and what makes that special.
So for a lot of the scenes, I don't know if it was for every scene, they basically used these crazy high resolution LED walls, which they started kind of popping up, I want to say around 6 years ago. They were used on stages a lot as backgrounds for performing artists, and we even used them at the club I was working and running it a few times. We didn't own it though; we rented it, and it basically you could make whatever background you wanted. And then when The Mandalorian came around, they had the idea to use these screens and basically generate any background they wanted. And when the background's out of focus, especially if it's very high resolution, you can make anything look like anything. So I don't know if The Mandalorian was 100% shot with these virtual screens, but I know a lot of it was, and that's what made a lot of it possible. Now, the reason they do that is you're also not doing as much green screen at that point. You're using these backgrounds that are put on these screens, and you're filming, and everything that's in camera is what the final product is, other than like color grading the images. They're not like green screening stuff like you typically would, and that's really the big thing. They spent a lot of money on this technology, but they'll make it back not just on The Mandalorian, but on other TV shows that use these sets that are owned by Disney. And that's the whole thing. You spend a lot in the beginning, but you make it back 20, 30, 100 fold after using it for a few shows and not having to spend all that money in post-production on green screen stuff.
And it says here it's formerly called Stagecraft. It's 20 feet tall, 270 degrees around, and 75 feet across. The largest and most sophisticated virtual filmmaking environment yet made. ILM just today publicly released this is behind-the-scenes video of the system in use, as well as a number of new details about it. Mm-hmm. There you go. There's a green screen studio, but here you can see. Here is. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Well, that's supposed to be like a desert, but it's not really a desert. Yeah. They have some practicals in there though, like a lot of the ground is real, but they mix the ground to make it look like what's on the screens, and that's why it looks so real. And they did a really good job on that. But I mean, you wouldn't expect anything less. It's Disney, and they have a heavy budget, anyways. I think the thing with The Mandalorian is. It was like 6 episodes or 8 episodes or whatever it was, but it had the budget of a movie.
Yeah, I think it was 10 episodes. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it was.
I think it was 8. I'm actually pretty sure it was 8. Now
in the comment section, so everyone can see it and check it out. It really is amazing, and it really is a revolution in filmmaking. Unfortunately, it's an expensive revolution, so it's gonna be years.
It's not for everybody. It's definitely not for. It's for big production companies at this point. 20 years from now or 10 years from now, we could probably start seeing it pop up more on the indie side. I mean, look, you could buy these screens, but I mean, I remember when I was even looking at the screens, they were 1080p, and I think they were like $50,000 or $60,000 for just like one that was the size of like a stage that like a small stage that's in a jazz club. And that was a lot, you know, $50,000-$60,000 for that size. And like the one on the Mandalorian is like at least 20 of them. And that's at least, you know, that thing's not cheap. And it's much higher resolution. I don't remember if it was 8K, but I remember it's above 6K, above 4K. So it's high. It's very high resolution.
Right now, okay. So we've got stagecraft as a technology. What are other technological breakthroughs? I mean, we don't talk about it, but LEDs are a huge breakthrough that you've become so.
You're talking about for lighting?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's not as new anymore, though. I mean, yes, they were a huge breakthrough, but
looking back, I mean, I did it, but ever since the advent of digital, you've got digital cameras come in, then you've got LED lighting come in. You get advent of cameras. I mean, cameras are getting
really the only thing that hasn't changed much is sound, because like there's microphones that have been great for 50 years that are still great to this day, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, that's true. That's really, really true. Have the labs gotten better over the last?
There have been labs that have gotten better. I don't know if I would say I would think it's less about the microphone in the lab itself and more about the wireless part of it that got better over the years.
Right.
Like for instance, I've got this puppy, and these are one of the first wireless labs. Well, first they're really small. So this is a receiver, a wireless lab receiver, and this one receiver can take 2 inputs. So these are 2 separate labs that go into one receiver. And the fact that they're battery powered, they're very, very high quality. It's like they don't use the traditional transmissions that they used to use. They use like some kind of Wi-Fi transmission now that gives you like 300 feet, and it's more reliable. And I think, the other thing is I have all these traditional labs, and T-Mobile bought up a huge portion of the frequencies. So like some of the labs I have, you can't even use anymore. They're illegal. So it's like I can't even sell them because they're illegal. I just, I'm not throwing them out, but at the same time, I'm not using them. But these were a pretty big breakthrough, because I haven't had a wireless transmitter receiver before that did 2 into 1, and the quality is just superb. So superb. I have another set. I haven't even opened these yet.
Gotcha. So you have your own sound equipment too.
Uh-huh.
You really have everything.
But the thing is, when you're doing one-man band, you have to, or else you have to hire somebody to come out, and you have to rely on them, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. And that's why I'm used to a lot of one-man band stuff. But a lot of the one-man band stuff I'm doing, it's not feature films. It's mostly documentaries, commercials, corporate work. And you want to just be although having sometimes an assistant helps, I don't want to rely on a sound person just to bring sound gear. Like for me, it's easier just to have the sound gear and lab them up and be good to go. So it's a time thing. It's a time thing. And then you also make, you do make more money when you have a lot of gear too, and you don't have to bring someone else out. So it's kind of like, a lot of the pressure's on you because you're the only person, but the money is worth it. And if the money's not worth it, then, you're not charging appropriately for what you're doing, or you're just not good at what you're doing.
Yeah. And answer the question, Chris Kevin, yes, lab is short for lavalier.
Yeah.
Cool VFX.
Yes.
Unboxing video. I've had Karen B says I've had to replace my wireless mics twice because the FCC sold the frequencies.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about with my wireless labs. The FCC sold them to T-Mobile, and I can't use them now. And that's why I got these, because I was just like, all right, well, time to switch it. And these are better anyways than the ones I had. The only good part about the ones I had was they were crazy expensive at the time, but the transmission distance was ridiculous. Like you could use them on stage in like a stadium and be at like the control booth and have it received.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, these definitely don't do that. But for what I'm shooting, from what I'm filming, I'm never more than 10, 20 feet away. So like these are way more than good because they're rated for like 300 feet. So I don't even use what they're rated for.
Gotcha. Just change topics for a little bit. I got a big box in today for those of you who order stuff from the Area Studio store, and it was models. It was Geronimo models. It was the small Aries model, and I got, and I've not put them in the store yet, but I will. I got 5 of the brand new Korolev model. So we have not released that one yet, but I will. I'll put it up this weekend, and so you crazy model people.
All right.
Can go in there. We've got I don't know. There's somewhere around 107 right now. We're probably sitting at about 170 people have paid for their shipping for their USS Aries blueprints. I approved the final version of the blueprints. Let's see. I should be able to share that with you. Hold on one second. Let me pop it up here. Somewhere on my desktop. Isn't it? Let me open it. Oh, that's the AI file. That's the AI file. I know what's the other file? Oh, Alexander, where did you go? Oh, here it is. Oh, that's not it. All right, I'm gonna find it. Oh, here it is. All right, let's open this file, and once I open it, I can share it with you guys, and we can check out what the blueprints look like. This is the final version of the blueprints. All right. So here you go. Here are the blueprints. All these people who are here under the research group, they all donated to be on the front page. So thank you very much. Help make it a great success. Here's the bridge. Deck 1, deck 2, deck 3. I mean, it's crazy that Alexander knows where to put all this stuff. Deck 4, deck 5.
Sign of a true Star Trek fan.
Deck 6. You can see how small the shuttle bay.
The shuttle bay, yeah.
Here's deck 7, which is obviously now we're talking secondary hull. Okay. There again, 9 and 10. And then here's what the warp missile looks like. And then on the last page, we have, this is a little bit of a bonus page that Alexander put together. Originally, it was only 8 pages. We made it 9. Down here, we have the yard engineers. These everyone who's worked on the bridge, well, almost everyone. Dana Wagner, James Simpson, Scott Little, and Dominic Perry. The Ares launch team is our Starfleet International team. Dal Simpson and Paul Osborne, our first and second officers. Steve Parmley, the head of Starfleet. And Alex Rosenzweig, just because he's such a cool guy and I've known him for like 30 years. So I decided to put him down. And then Starfleet Command, we put Gene Roddenberry there. Richard Hatch, Mark Edward Lewis, our editor, and David Bing Bailey, our one of our producers, our DIT and colorist, and many things. So there you go. So there's the blueprints. Now, if you want a set of blueprints, if you have not ordered the blueprints will be going up in the Area Studio store this weekend. Yes, there's an Easter egg, at least one. I only know of one. There may be more. He may have put more in there, but I don't know about them. Glenn Iverson wants to know where you can get a hold of some of those lav mics.
No, he wants the laboratory mics, and those you got to get them on the plane. You got to go to the bathroom.
Right, sublet, pay for your shipping. What's taking you so long? Michael Weir says the FCC is a bunch of jackboot thugs since he works for FEMA and knows all about working for the government. So there you go. So cool. All right. So what else is going on, Geoff? How's business going for you?
It's slowly restarting, but now I'm trying to deal with moving and getting back into the world. I don't know if you muted yourself. I was like, I don't hear the barking anymore. It's really just getting back to work. You know, things are starting to open up again. Production is not completely restarted down here, but you know, I'm getting requests for work now, which is great because it was obviously very, very slow over COVID. So yeah, it's basically just, you know, taking what I can and basically reopening the business to a lot of the corporate clients that want to start doing corporate videos again. And I haven't really gotten much documentary work, but I think it's really because that requires, like we spoke about earlier, a lot more planning. Um, so it's good. It's good to see, you know, we're kind of opening back up, as they say.
All right, good, good. Um, let's see, what else? I'm just trying to think if there's anything else on the Aries Studio side of things, since Axanar is, I would say, moving along at a very slow. Right now, Axanar is the crawler that holds the space shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
Moving along 5 miles an hour. That's kind of like, you know, we're just moving down to the launch pad. So we're taking our time and making sure we do it the right way. But all right. And what's coming up for you this coming week, Geoff?
The hurricane. That's what's coming up.
Well, if you need a place to go, you can always come up to Atlanta and crash at our place.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I'll take you up that when we. I'll take you up on that when we do the next shoots for sure.
Yeah, always a place for you when we do the shoot.
Cool. But yeah, no, that's what's coming up. A bunch of editing from footage I took the past few days, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, weathering out the storm, and then, you know, I think typically the way it works is because I got hit up for a documentary that wanted me to just do drone work for them, and then it was supposed to be Sunday, but Sunday morning is when the hurricane's hitting. So it's one of those things where as long as the hurricane doesn't hit too hard, I'm sure on Monday I'll get a call right away and they'll be like, all right, we're looking to do this date. So it'll be next week will basically be a planning week as long as things are nice and slow and there's really no damage. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. Right now, as a matter of fact, I should mention it. You know, we kind of looked at the sets that we got from First Frontier, all those TOS sets, and God, I tell you, that was a bad deal because those sets are crap. So we're taking we got a bunch of bridge stations. And Dana looked at the stuff once we got it and said, Alec, if we're ever going to build a TOS bridge, we're going to build it from scratch. He said, this stuff is crap. So I hired someone to basically break down all the bridge stuff. I said, let's keep the transporter platform, but he's like, even that. He says, if I'm going to build something people are going to be standing on, I want to build it myself. So, so we'll see. We may wind up getting rid of that as well. We'll see. But, you know, listen, it's not like we're using them right now. And I would I don't really want to be storing and then eventually moving stuff if we move into a new studio. Right. And on that
makes sense.
We looked at some. I think I reported we looked at some land a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago. We looked at some land down in Madison, which was great because not only was it a nice size plot, it was like 7 acres, but it had high speed internet. The realtor who was one of the principals of with the first, she was her and her husband were the first people to buy land in this development, and that was like 8 years ago. And so for 7 years she hammered AT&T about getting high speed internet in their development, and last year they finally brought it out. It was like, so when I'm looking at land, I'm looking at developments. You know, developments are challenged sometimes because you've got all sorts of restrictions and covenants and what have you. You got to make sure they're okay with kind of barn dominium, metal building, that type of thing. But there's some advantages also, gated community maybe, or it's just, it's a very nice community. This one is in the middle of nowhere and it's beautiful. So we're looking at all those things and continue to look at them. It's just, there's so many moving parts, and fortunately this past week, a lot of it So a lot of stuff settled for me this week. I mean, literally settled in that 3 lawsuits I had literally settled. And someone, Alec, you had 3 lawsuits going. Well, to be fair, only 2 of them were actual lawsuits. One was pending litigation. I was going to sue someone. They settled, very favorable. So that was good. So I just got that a bunch, those 3 legal actions off my plate. Believe it or not, I have 3 more. So it's knocked those down, technical. But as Heritage, I had my second interviews with Heritage last week. So all this stuff is starting slowly clearing up, and I'm getting, we have all this lack of visibility with COVID-19 as to when we're shooting and how, when we're going to be able to wrap up Axanar. I mean, it's clearly, we should have been wrapped up by now, right? We should be coloring it right now if COVID hadn't hit. So anyway, a lot of things are clearing up for me. Am I going to take this job? If I do, what does that mean? Well, it's taking a job. It's more income, which is always good, especially since I seem to, spend so much money on the studio. So we'll see. We're going to work on our next Kickstarter. I think the next Kickstarter, instead of being the art book, is going to be the MSD drawings. All the rest of the ship. So we released the Geronimo. We've released the Ares. Now you've got the Korolev, the Magellan. There's actually 2 Korolevs, Magellan, Triton, and we're coming out with the Capella frigate as well. So the next group of posters would be a set of probably 5 is what I'm thinking. But I'm talking to Alexander because we're also talking about releasing some of the actual computer graphics as well. So
very cool.
Yeah, so we'll see about that. Looking at some of the comments. Scott Little, who actually built those First Frontier sets. Scott, did you see your name on the blueprints, by the way? I hope you saw that. Says, yes, the First Frontier sets are crap. They weren't designed to last past the shoot. Still don't know why Kenny ever kept them and for so long. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I don't know why we got them. But we did, and that's all right. It's all good. But Scott
you had
Little.
to get them to know that you shouldn't have gotten them.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. I think there was a little bit. I should have walked to that, looked at those things, and going, "Oh fuck, Kenny, I'm not taking this stuff." But whatever. We got some bio beds for the sick bay. How's that?
There you go.
The plan is for Dragon. Is that the name of the hurricane? To splash down in the Gulf of Panama? The Gulf of Panama State. Well, that's near Wright Sublette too.
Wright, I'm pretty sure, is not even in any danger of even getting a storm from this hurricane.
Oh, really? He's in the Panhandle.
Yeah, it's only hitting like the very east coast of Florida. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, very good. Well, listen, I don't want to take you anymore. You've got Indian food waiting for you. My dogs are waiting to go out, and I got to take care of them. I want to thank Lissa once again for producing the show. Oh, the Dragon Capsule, Dale is saying.
Gotcha.
Dragon Capsule. Gotcha. Well, good. I didn't even know it was splashing down. Yes, you did, Scott. You did warn me they weren't Axanar quality. But hey, live and learn. That's okay. It was. Hey, listen, we had fun that day. I mean, it was a lot of hard work. I spent about $300. Not a problem. Not a problem. So thank you so much. Stephen Shuey, I donated a small amount on your last campaign and got an email saying I earned something and had to send shipping money, but I didn't try for anything. Stephen, I don't. You'll have to talk to me directly because I don't even know which campaign and what you try. Contact me directly, and we'll just message me on Facebook one day, and we'll figure it out. Dragon's coming back this week, so there you go. All right. Well, listen. Thanks, Geoff. Thanks for catching up with us. Thanks to everyone out there in Axanar land for catching up on Axanar Confidential this week. We will try and get another guest. Maybe I'll try and get, and we may in fact get JP Poole for next week.
Awesome.
I always love talking to JP, and we're going to, he's all geared up for he's all excited about the Orville fan film, but it's like,
Cool VFX says I look sad. I'm not sad. I'm just so tired. I was filming all day, and I've got food waiting because all I had was a bagel today, and I'm just like,
you go. All right, everyone, take care. We need to get Geoff fed. Thanks, listeners out there. We appreciate you all. Thanks, Dale Simpson. Thank you, Stephen Shuey. Thank you to Scott Little. Everyone else, thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Starfleet Tactical. Is going to be at 10 o'clock at night, so join us for that. And in the meantime, live long and prosper, my friends, and wear your damn mask.